Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that impacts clients across their communication, their social, and their behavioral areas. So oftentimes we see deficits in these areas. So they may not be able to communicate like you and I are now. So they may need helps or prompts with their verbal strategies. They also may have repetitive or restrictive behavior. So they may be focused in on one or two things. And when you're having a conversation with them, they may go back to these one or two things over and over
Right.
again and not show any interest in what you want to talk about. And then finally, it's that communication piece of just not fully understanding conversations all the time and having that reciprocity and the eye contact and the back and forth that we often see in typical conversation. But I
So,
think it's also important to remember it's a spectrum disorder. So you're going to
mhm,
see varying degrees of impact. So the clients that we currently have been piloting the AAC program are more moderately to severely impacted. So these clients require 24/7 care. Their parents are still toileting them, helping them with their hygiene needs. They still
right,
drive them to the center each day. And so that's really the focus of the AAC is there are neurodiverse programs within our community for the higher functioning individuals with autism, but
mhm,
we're really wanting to hone in on that moderately to more severely impacted group and making sure that we can improve the quality of life for them. So our goal is to focus on this more moderately to severely impacted group so we can give them a place to go during the day and they're
right,
not just hanging out at home with their parents. And then again, their parents aren't having to provide that 24/7 care because that's exhausting and can often
right.
be overwhelming for these families. And we have some great social services in place in the state of Utah, but we can still always improve on those to provide these families more support. We have the second highest prevalence rate in the United States outside of New Jersey. And we are fortunate in that with that higher prevalence rate, we do get to be a part of the CDC studies and the Adams Project. So we get a lot of great data from research out of the state of Utah to learn more about why this is happening and what we can do as a community and what strategies and interventions we can use to support these families and individuals diagnosed with autism. There's genetic, environmental, many factors that face into it, but we haven't ever come up with the exact X causes Y strategy yet. But hopefully we can continue to work on that. And I feel like while we do have a higher prevalence rate, we can also be glad that we are part of that additional CDC project and continue to gather information from our community. The family support and the tight-knit community that we have here is why we have the Pingree Center and why we see the success of the clients that we have here and why we hope to continue that success into the Adult Autism Center. It has been a huge community push and a vision of stakeholders for the past 5 years, 10 years to develop this. And all of those children who have been identified with autism are now becoming adults. So we need a place for them to go and continue to receive high quality services. So at the Adult Autism Center, we really want to focus on not making macaroni necklaces or hanging out, but really finding meaningful employment opportunities. And that'll look different for everyone. So you may be volunteering or having an internship, or maybe you'll have a paid job 15 hours a week. But we really want to focus on continuing that name that the Pingree Center has created and those high quality evidence-based strategies that we know that work and improve the lives of the clients and also help their families. So after the age of 21, Medicaid no longer covers the services that our clients receive here at the Pingree Center. And so they begin to wonder, what are we going to do or how are we going to fund this? So the Department of Services for People with Disabilities has agreed to do a program with us where we can continue to provide those services, and they will fund for clients to receive day treatment and employment services through them. So this is huge because this really alleviates the stress from the parents and what are we going to do next? Where do we go? How do we continue to provide the supports and see these adults continue to grow and gain the necessary skills they need to be as independent as possible? The stress and the level of I think even fear sometimes for these families, knowing that when you come home, you have to have everything set up just an exact way or have it be repetitive, and you don't get to just go home and have dinner and do something different. I think
Right.
it's really stressful and it impacts them beyond anything that we can imagine. And even as a parent, I can't imagine having to go home and manage severe, challenging behaviors and still be a parent on top of that. So I think having any respite for these families is huge. And I want it to be where these clients get services, but it's also tailored to their individual needs. So it's not a one size fits all. It will be very individualized to meet the needs of each client and making sure that they're continuing to grow and gain those skills that they need to be independent adults. This project has been in the works for the past 5 years. So Cheryl Smith has been a huge advocate in advocating for her son and making sure that he has the services he needs. So while I just joined the project a few months ago, I know that it's been in the works for the past 5 to 10 years and really has been an undertaking, and just getting a building built for them to have a place to go and understanding who's going to pay for these services and who wants to be a part of this. And even as I've joined the project, trying to find employers that we know will employ individuals with autism
Right.
and be able to work with us and understand the diversity of this group and how that can impact a workplace. And it's very different than just minor accommodations that you make in a workplace. It's going to be a significant undertaking, but then understanding the social impact and how this will improve the lives of these clients and give them an opportunity that otherwise they wouldn't have had. We really need supports from the community. We need individuals to come in and teach those fitness classes and do arts and crafts and help us get our greenhouse up and going. So we're really going to be relying on the community and having partners come in and help us get all of this up and going, because it's a big part. It's not just about the clients being at the center. It's really immersing them in the community and having this be a two-way street. We can serve up to 50 clients. So we're starting out with the clients we currently serve, and then we'll be doing intakes over the next month. So starting out with about 12 to 15 clients is kind of our goal, and then building up from there. So it'll be really exciting, but also interesting as we work with vocational rehab and we work with DSPD to get all of these services outlined and make sure that they're individualized for each client, but that also ensuring they're getting the services and the supports they need. We've started hiring what we're going to call employment specialists. And so they will be the forefront and the face of the AAC. They'll be out meeting with employers, getting jobs lined out for these guys, and then continuing to provide those job coaching services as we identify employment opportunities. So yes, it'll be exciting on that front also. And then it's a new opportunity within Valley. So if anybody's interested, we currently are hiring for those positions and look forward to providing some career growth. I think anyone at this point can just reach out to me through email, Slack. We really are looking for community partners to come in and volunteer their time to teach classes. So if you're a great Zumba instructor outside of your role at Valley, we would love for you to come teach a Zumba class to our clients or a yoga class. But then also we're really focusing in on those leisure activities. So even coming and volunteering time to play games or teach our clients new games, that's also really important. We have a great arts and crafts room where we'll be teaching them leisure skills, but also making things that we're going to sell in our commissary. So this week, the adult clients make candles. So we'll continue that on. But if you have time and you want to give back, it's a great way that we could have volunteers come in and teach a new skill that may be an activity we haven't thought of or something that would really pique the interest of our clients. So I always want to make sure that we're leading people where you get valid information, because as you know,
Sure.
you can Google anything and get any answer you want these days. So the National Research Autism Center is probably the best place to go. It really outlines what autism is and has great information on what the evidence-based practices are that we can use with individuals with autism to make sure that we're providing high quality treatment. But it does a really great job of outlining the characteristics of autism and providing evidence on how you can identify maybe even where someone falls on the spectrum or what you can expect from that person. It really is a complex disability, but then also understanding, and we say this all the time, when you meet one person with autism, you've met that one person. They're
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
be, it's just like meeting any other individual. Everyone's going to have their differences, but celebrating those differences and highlighting their great characteristics they bring to the table, and then really just positively working on those other areas that you can see they can improve on.